sometimes a woman can talk her out of a relationship. You can talk. We do that.
Yes,
We will talk.
I'm gonna say something, and this might ruffle little feathers. I don't think just being a good man is enough to stay in a relationship with them.
But when I say a good man, I mean like he's good. That means all around. That means himself, spiritually, mentally, physically.
That's great.
Healthily, like he's a good man.
That doesn't mean that he's the man for you. And maybe when you're going through these motions of getting to know him, you're realizing, okay, he's a great person, but honestly, I don't with his humor. Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because he's a good man, but because he's not funny, you gotta throw that out.
Ladies first.
Always ladies first.
Ladies first.
Okay. I see both their points, right? But old girl that was like, just because he a good man don't mean he a good man for you. She tells no lies, right? That's the reality. You can be a great man. It does not mean that you are the right man for me. It doesn't. Now the other girl is right. This is why a lot of us are getting older and we still alone and we got cats. But in that same respect, I have dated a good man. He was not the good man for me. He belonged to somebody else. He wasn't my husband.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was definitely going to bring that up.
Here is my husband. I'd have stayed with that man, just stayed with him because he was a good man. He was good to me. He was overall a good man.
And what was the problem with that?
He wasn't the good man for me. He wasn't.
Okay.
You were the good man for me.
Oh.
So imagine if I had stayed with him. Then we wouldn't be here right now.
No.
That would be horrible. We can't hold on to the good man, though. When you know you have a good man and you know that he's not the good man for you, please let that man go nicely. Don't be his villain origin story. Let that man go find his good woman. Go on, chime in. Put your 2 cents. What you want to say?
I only got 1 cent, but but I'm as you said, I see both sides. I think the problem is being able to communicate her thoughts effectively. Because the question you got to ask is, what in the world, what is being a good man? What is that? What does that look like exactly? It's not the same for everyone. That's number one. Number two, what is the structure, and what are you basing that on in society? Is this a service based type of man? Like meaning
is what because of what he can do for you?
Is what he's doing? Is it what he's doing for you that's causing him to be a good man? Or, well, the other girl kind of chimed in and said, I mean, all around, spiritually, XYZ, and all this kind of stuff. The girl said, great, but he's not the one for me. But the question is, though, he may not be the one for you, but how exactly do you reconcile that when it comes, like, okay, hypothetical, right?
Okay.
If something was to happen, right? Especially if men are supposed to be the protectors of women, right? If something was to happen and you have no protection because you don't want to be with a guy because he ain't make you laugh every day.
Now, me personally, I think that what she used to say it wasn't right for her was trivial. But the reality of the situation is he can be all of the right things and something still just not connect for the two of y'all.
But see, but then also the question on that is the connections that are placed on people, or people place on others in this modern day society. Where do those connections come from? Because
it's an intangible feeling.
No, I'm saying, like, because we've been indoctrinated with certain things. My question is, the things that we think that we want, that we think are this spark that we have between one another, is it really something that we're pulling from inside of ourselves, to the surface, or is it something that we've seen on television in something that we have romanticized? And in our head, we're just like, oh, I want this out of this man. And we overlook the qualities of the quote unquote good man and try to, look for someone else who can give us that extra bit. It's almost like that 80-20 split. You know what I'm saying?
I think that you're leaning more on this spark, right? I can't speak for everyone else. I can speak for me. Right. What I feel with you is a connection. It's not necessarily a spark. I feel a connection to you that I've never felt with anyone else. It's not a spark. It's not fleeting. I feel connected to you. And if we are not connecting, then that may be what's missing because you are not the good man for me.
All right. Few things on that, right? And I can't necessarily disagree. But my question is, one, what's the time frame you give somebody to find that connection? And then two, what causes that connection?
I can't answer what causes that connection. I don't know. I just know that it exists for me.
What do you think caused the connection that you have for me?
Didn't I just say I don't know?
I know. I took that as you were talking about for everybody.
Oh.
So it wasn't a day where you woke up and was like, boom, we connected.
Now, we have talked about this before. My feelings for you came on just like that.
So that was a connection?
Sure.
What did I do to cause that?
Nothing. You didn't.
Oh, okay.
It just occurred.
Okay. All right.
And then as far as the time frame goes, I can't say that either. All I can say is don't hold on to him once you realize that it's not there. That even though everything is good about him or her, because the same thing could be happening with a woman. I mean, with the roles reversed or whatever. Right. Once you realize that connection or whatever it is you need that's there, that's whatever you need to be there isn't there, it's time to let it go and not hold on to that person when they really supposed to be out here with someone else. Because let's just be honest, let's not pretend that some people are not married to the person that they're supposed to be married to. You married the wrong person.
Right.
And it's not because he is not a good man. It's not because she is not a good woman. It's simply because you guys were not supposed to be together.
I mean, and what are you gauging that off of, though? Because they fight or they're just not happy with one another?
Just because that connection is missing. And then they can go and get a divorce and then go find the people they're supposed to be with and be just as happy as can be.
I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
I guess because my thing is we want to avoid divorce as much as possible.
We do. I'm gonna give you an example.
and we want to make sure we avoid it by not getting divorces over trivial things.
I understand that.
Like, he didn't make me laugh last night. So
I said that was trivial. But listen, I a few years ago took care of a woman. And I thought she and the man were married. The whole time I was taking care of her, I thought that they were married until they said, no, we've been divorced for 25 years. And I was like, what? They discovered they were married. They had 2 kids. They had been married for, I think, 10 years. They were both very good people. They both cared about each other a tremendous amount, right? But they did not work together. They were not meant for each other. And so after 10 years, they divorced. They remained the best of friends. She got sick. He took her into his home. He took care of her through her illness. Her new husband, she got remarried, but he died.
Now we out.
He died. That's why she didn't have.
I'm out of here.
And that's why she didn't have another husband to take care of her.
And you see, she should have stayed her butt where she was.
But they got divorced and they lived wonderful lives. She got remarried. I don't think he ever got remarried, but she did get remarried. Her husband just happened to have died, and so. At the end of her life,
I'm out of here, bro.
They were friends, though. They were friends.
Y'all might as well have stayed married if we're gonna.
I said that too. I said y'all gonna get remarried, and they both laughed in my face. They were like, "Absolutely not.
That's
we were not
they were
meant
smashing
to be
that
married."
whole time.
No, they weren't.
I don't believe that.
Whatever. The point I'm trying to make is 2 people can get married and realize that they were not meant to be married. They were better off as friends or just separate altogether and then go on to lead happy lives.
I mean, I hear that. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that I completely disagree with her, because honestly, flipping the roles on the other side, if I was out in the dating field, some woman showing up and saying that, she can do all these things, she's sweet, she has high high morals, her character is almost flawless, but if she don't check a couple other boxes for me, I probably would not.
That's all I'm saying.
Go down that route.
And we are not advocating for people to go out here and get divorced. That's not what we're saying. Because if you're married, baby, you done already stepped into it.
Stay there.
Let's see if we can make it work. But in the dating phase, this is where you do your sorting. Don't wait until you done walk down the aisle. Do your sorting in the dating phase. Again, if you can make it work, you find yourself a good man and good woman. Mm-hmm. If you guys can find that connection, absolutely find it and build on it and have a wonderful relationship. But if 3, 4, 5 months in that, wow, this is an incredible person, she is wonderful and is everything that someone would want in a mate, but he or she is not my mate, go ahead and let them go find the person that they're supposed to be with.
If you look in the comments, there are a lot of men that are upset about what she said, and I think
they would be.
I think the breakdown is because it's so many single women out there, and so many women that talk about how trash men are, and there are a lot of men in these quote unquote friend zones that get stepped over all the time, and these women get done bad by these men that check the 20% of the boxes that the 80% man did not check, causing further damage that the other good men that come along that the women settle for are going to have to pick up the pieces on. That's not really it's not fair.
It's not. I agree.
It's not 100%. Fair at all. So I can see why they would be upset about that. But on the flip side, I don't think that the majority of those men in the comments would accept a woman who check all the intangible boxes and they don't like her appearance. I don't know if a lot of men would accept that, so again, with the whole just being a good person or a good man is not enough to, keep me in a relationship. But
I think you have to be realistic about what's missing, though. That's the key point, to be realistic about what's missing.
And that's what I was going to go into. I think that's another piece of it. A lot of times people leave these relationships based on the trivial things that and it's just like, at that point, it's you.
At some point, you do have to look in the mirror now, because you done had 3, 4, 5 good men or good women, and none of them was the right one for you. You need to do some self-reflecting
and understand that you're not going to find that perfect person that check all those boxes.
There's always going to be something left off.
Right. Look at your list.
Stop looking at your list.
No. Look at your list.
Really stop.
Take that thing and read through what's trivial, and understand that everything on your list is not a boundary. And you can look at it and be like, well, this is my standard. But some of those standards,
just because you call it a standard, don't make it a standard for real.
Some of those standards are absolutely ridiculous. So look at your list. No one's telling you to settle for the bottom of the barrel.
No.
But come on, man.
But a good man or a good woman is not the bottom of the
at
barrel.
all. Especially when a lot of women and some men like to say that, it's pee-pee in the dating water. And if that's the case, then you don't have a lot of good men and a lot of good women out here. So, take your chances. Leave your type alone for a second. Step outside your type. Date somebody else. And don't come with this whole, well, I tried that once and they cheated on me too.
Not once. Stop it. You stumbled across the wrong one. Find a different one.
That's it. But my last question, and I guess after this we can wrap it up, is if you're saying that being a good man isn't enough to keep you in a relationship, if you, let's say you stayed in that relationship with a good man, right? What would you do? What would you be doing? Because are you saying that you would be miserable in that relationship, and then outside of leaving the relationship, what would you be doing? Cheating?
That would be awful, but that's some people's villain origin story.
Right. Right. it is. But, that's just a little question. I'll leave y'all with. It's not a serious question, not a hard question, but I don't know. You got something you want to wrap up with?
No, just be realistic about what you feel like is missing from that good man or woman.
Mm-hmm. Look at those standards and see what has been the trivial one on that list that's been keeping you out of those good relationships, and maybe scratch that thing out, or just take the whole list and just throw
all it up and throw it out the window.
Yeah, get rid of it. Start over. But yeah, that's it. It's been nice talking to you guys.
As always.
Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, we'll be back. Peace.
Good night.